Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Drawing for Tattooers. I'm James Wisdom. I'm getting warmed up, and I hope you are too. Getting warmed up is it's so important. Maybe we overlook it. So I like to start the show just sort of doing some ellipses, getting my hands warmed up, getting my mind awake. Yeah. Yeah. Well, something that I wanted to talk about today is going to be perspective. Perspective is can be a pretty tricky subject, but we were starting with these ellipses, right? A way that you can think about it, right, is that it has a minor axis and a major axis, right? So there's going to be a shortest point and then a longest point. They should all be equal distance in the center, but hopefully you can get the hang of it, just like me. Right. All right. So just getting a little bit of warm up here. Thinking about major axis, thinking about minor axis. Now, if we draw a cube, just sketching, getting warmed up still. If we draw a cube, thinking about perspective. These two edges, the top and the bottom, they're parallel. They're going to appear to converge at a point somewhere back here in the distance. Same thing with this. All these edges are going to appear to converge at a point. The point's along eye level or the horizon line. Okay. It looks kind of cube-like. Getting there. Sketching today. So if I divide this surface, and I divide this one, and I divide this one, and the top one, right, just going corner to corner, I've divided it. Well, I could put an ellipse up here. Right? It starts to look like maybe like a dice or something. Well, if I wanted to say put some ellipses on the other sides, I would draw again some minor axis. Minor axis would be along these same edges, right? These edges. So, a couple of those. Again, like I was saying, the minor axis is going to be the one that's shortest, and the major one will be longest. So, right, sketching. So that would be the way that these would lean. If you wanted to draw dice. Same thing over here for this side. It's going to go, I don't know which sides are which, right? I don't know what goes what, but I like, maybe 5. I'll put 5 over here. Minor axis, there, kind of roughing in. And again, I'm going to lean ellipses this way. So it looks like they belong on this plane. Hopefully. There you go. Well, a little exercise to kind of get you warmed up. A little dice, thinking about it. Okay, everybody. We've got a full house today. I want to say hey. So let me stuff is sharing. Awesome. Good morning, gang. And if it's working for you, let us know in the chats, everybody. We'd like to say hey. And then good morning, Brad. It's great to see a new face.
Hey, James.
Welcome to Amber. Welcome to Kyle. We got Creature is hanging out in the studio. Creature is going to join us probably in a minute. Let's get stretched real quick, everybody. Right, stretch your arms, stretch your hands here. Get a quick stretch. Hold it for a few. Breathe. Right. I think this is important. I do. We may look silly, on the internet every week and stretching out. But hopefully everybody at home is taking it seriously. Getting a little bit of a stretch, getting a little bit of a warm up. And then and push them together, right? So before we were stretching out, when we pull our hands back like this, we're really stretching out our extensors and our flexors. But when we push them together like this, our hands together like this, we can really feel it in our pectoralis, right in the chest. So shoulders, pecs. Very good. Yeah, and shake it out. I think that's gonna help us. Help us be limbered up and also avoid injury. I also think it's going to help you with making better marks. That's all we're doing, right? We're making marks if it's on paper, if it's on skin. We still want to make good quality marks. Well, anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. What's new, gang?
Same old.
Life's new every day.
Could you elaborate for us, Amber? I'd love to hear more.
Just for instance, the grandkids' bus was so late today. So late. And I was like, all right, you guys are going to have to do this on your own with Mom. I got to go. I waited as long as I could, and it still wasn't there. And I was like, all right, can you handle all three of these kids? Can you herd the baby goats for a little while? Why? So that happened, and then the coffee pot didn't want to work. Just awesome. Life. Life is what happens when you're making other plans.
Funny. No, I agree. I think it's looks like we're getting. It's got some comments that it's looking good on YouTube. Thank you for letting us know. Amber, thank you for sharing that. I think that's it's good to not feel alone, right? Everything fails in the end, and so enjoying those little, enjoying that, that failure is probably it's a good drive, right? It's part of the drive, I think. So, okay. Anybody else? I want to hear what's new with everybody. What's going on? What are you working on? Any fun projects?
Pretty stoked on what I'm working on right now. For fun. I've got a pretty intense neck piece today. Should be eventful.
Awesome.
Really eventful.
Do you want to share it? You could share it if you wish.
Yeah, let me pull up OBS real quick.
Okay. I've been working on trying to get better at atmospheric light pollution in my drawings. That way I can practice without using the eraser. So that's what I've been working on.
Amazing. So Kyle, you've got yours up there. I don't know how to spotlight in this format. I'm feeling this pressure, this failure that that Amber was talking.
Wow.
Make it
that is cool as hell.
It is cool. I hope that you all can see it. Yeah, I'm searching. If you're out there, help us out. Help us, Gabe. No, that's cool. So, Kyle, is this a tattoo that you're drawing up for today?
No. This is for fun. This one I might just turn into a print. And the one I'm tattooing.
That's a great sticker.
This is what I'm tattooing today.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Awesome.
So,
Kyle, you always inspire me, man.
Oh, thank you.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be a fun day, full of
I
stress.
like the lighting in that.
Thank you.
See, that's exactly what I'm trying to get better at. I've been going real hard at it too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it adds so much to like every design. You know, just having that little atmospheric perspective into it. It helps out so much. But yeah, that's what I'm up to.
Love it.
Yeah, I love that too. Preacher, you were working on one. Do you want to share it?
Absolutely not. No, thank you. I'm not going after that. But thank you for the offer. Right. So what I got going on today, attempt 5. I'm waiting to sign the lease today. We shall see.
Good luck.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
fingers
Thank
crossed.
you.
Fingers crossed.
One more swing.
Good.
All right.
Well, all right. So Brad, thanks for joining us today. It's great to meet you. What's up? How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Been pretty busy lately, so I haven't been able to join these calls, but I know they've been going on and they're all really cool. I'm working on my Monday night exercise for tonight a little bit, and whatever else you got planned for today, I'd jump into that too, some drawing exercises, or I can definitely try to show you what I got.
Yeah, we'd love to see it.
Still pretty early stages, and if I'm honest, I'm having a super hard time with this style of drawing. I don't know if I can flip my camera around, so is it upside down or what do I got to do? Unless you know how to flip the camera around.
Well,
That's pretty clear.
I think that we're really starting to see it. If you want, you could you could turn your tablet, yes, or that, yeah. That's
Is that better?
starting to get there. We're working on it.
Yeah, it's still early stages. I'm having a hard time. I had a really hard time getting like the scales to feel like they're wrapping around the snake kind of with the right perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna try to actually color them or shade them so they don't look so like cartoony, because that's kind of where my style is limited. I'm trying to bring it into the more realistic style as a challenge to myself. Maybe not like, super realistic, but I think you know what I mean.
No, I that was gorgeous.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Beautiful render, and the colors, and the way that you're sort of you're rendering each scale, but of course there's an overall form to the snake body. I think that was beautiful, Brad.
Mhm.
Awesome.
That looks killer, Brad. That looks awesome.
And
Thank you.
And so you're part of our Monday night group.
Yeah, I've been slacking the past month or so. I was off the commitment there, but trying to get back in the swing of it.
It's I love that design that you've come up with. And so for people who are watching us every Monday night as a part of the Reinventing the Tattoo subscribers group, a group of us get together and we will design a tattoo for a fictional client, right? We'll have a prompt and then we'll design something. We'll run through a process of thumbnails and some feedback, and then we'll develop it even more. Then we'll have a week to to work on it. And Brad, you've really taken advantage of that. You've got like a really wonderful drawing, I think, going on. This was a particular challenge this week because we wanted to cover something up. That we had like an image of a tattoo we want to cover up, and then we're designing like a snake to do. And so there was another set of like obstacles to deal with as you're designing, not just the design but the needs of a cover up as well. And it's a good exercise. I know that we, as tattooers, we do it. We're going to deal with it on a daily basis, but I think what's really nice is giving this group that you can give each other feedback, and you can bounce it off of people who you're not going to have this like sort of the client relationship necessarily, right? Which can be, I think, there can be all sorts of transference in there. Like your client is like really, they want to get this thing covered. They don't care, or they're being really picky. With other artists, you're going to have a different perspective, I think, which can help you grow. It can help you sort of come into your own. Anyway, that's the plug for our reinventing group. But I just super impressive, Brad. I really like it. I really like what you came up with.
Appreciate you saying that, because I don't know if I feel like I've been struggling with this one. It's taken me probably 3 or 4 hours to get to this point. Or maybe more. I don't know.
That's all? That's like the whole week's worth of every day, all day for me.
I feel it might be a couple more hours than that. But I feel like the digital, you can, once you learn to use it a little bit, it's really helped me get in quick in this process for sure. I'm still kind of new to the digital world.
I don't know anything about digital.
I got my pencils right here. They're handy.
That's
You still like to use analog?
myself.
I do.
Preacher,
Who else?
Me
does?
too.
That's all I know. I look at things and then I
drawing a
pretend I
tattoo
know
for
what I'm doing.
myself in analog.
It feels weird just calling it analog because
I know.
normal
It's
to
just
me.
normal, the way we've always done it.
Makes no sense.
I actually last night I went to a figure drawing group, so it was live figure drawing. So yeah, pencils and charcoal and stuff. It was a lot of fun. I hadn't done it in a while. It was something that I used to do a lot every day. Right? I used to figure draw every day, and so getting a chance to do it again, just for enrichment, it was fantastic. And so I think that's what I would definitely encourage. Everybody out there, you're listening. There's likely a figure drawing or a local drawing group that's real. This is fun. All this, this like digital meetup, right? We're in this cyberspace and we're drawing together and hanging out. It is a lot of fun. But there's real ones, right? Right by you, right? There's something real. There's real people getting together, really, they're drawing and stuff. Again, it's like you're in your shop environment, you're talking to real people, you're tattooing on real people. That's real. It's amazing. There's also real life groups where you can draw with each other, draw with your friends and family, whatever whatever is proximate to you. I can't recommend it enough. I think it's really valuable. So yeah, and the digital is awesome, but don't forget your pencils, right? Don't forget your pencils and stuff. But yeah, that was my last night, was working on figure. And so I'm hoping, I'll show some of that next week. We'll do figure drawing and stuff next week, just gesture sketches, and we'll work on figure. I'm trying to get more organized with this and make it an enjoyable experience.
I understand digital is faster. Like the project I just finished drawing, it took me about a week. And I mean, everything went well. It's not like anything went badly in the process. But it took me about a week because I did it normally. But at the same time, I can't wait to get this tattoo on my leg. Because I designed a tattoo for me because I need to make.
What'd you design?
What was that?
What did you design? What's the drawing?
Oh, here it is.
Oh, cool.
Neat.
That's
Beautiful.
rad.
Love it.
Yeah, that looks like a lot of fun.
I can't wait to wear it. I think I
Awesome.
need to push my darks a little darker. I haven't really put the drop shadows in yet.
No.
But once I do, I think the color scheme's going to look really dynamic.
I think you're already there, honestly. I think it looks pretty damn good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that looks awesome. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good job.
And the making of it went so smooth.
Cool.
Because there's a lot in it. It easily could have looked like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
I definitely could have.
Amazing. Why? Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Amber. I thought it looked really, really nice.
Thank
It's
you.
very clean. It's very clean.
Yeah.
Right. And it's very symmetrical and orderly. So there's a lot of really aesthetically, satisfying.
Yeah, the whole thing is about balance and protection.
Cool.
It's got
Yeah.
symbols in it from all over the world and tons of different spirituality and religious beliefs. And the weird thing is, as I was researching everything I wanted to put in it, they all corresponded across the globe. Like this within this, and then within this. It just went so smooth.
That's cool. It's such a fun time when everything just kind of works out and you don't have to struggle with it. Ugh.
I thumbnailed the hell out of that thing too.
Oh, cool.
Even in color studies, I did color study thumbnails until I figured out exactly what I wanted.
It's
Nice.
an easy way to do it. Gotta study before the test, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
I think that's really good advice. You know what I mean? And it's difficult to not want to jump right into just doing the thing, but having a little bit of prep. Where you give yourself you try out some possibles, sketching wise, or value study, color study. You do something quick. You just give it a shot.
Yeah. Here's the thumbnails of figuring out where all the symbols go and breaking it down into geometric balanced shapes.
Love it. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna figure out how to spotlight everybody on this because I wish we could see it better. I feel
Right?
And then here's the color study.
awesome. Oh shit.
Yeah, that's a lot of work without doing it digital. So,
Yeah, totally.
props.
It was so much fun though. It was so much fun, and now I feel like I know the piece inside and out.
Mm-hmm.
I love tattooing myself because everything. The quality of the skin I'm tattooing, whether or not the client moves,
Mm-hmm.
and I love tattooing myself for that reason.
Yeah.
That, and it's kind of like therapy.
I find I've only done it a couple times, but I just did it recently. Tattooed my leg, and I was like, why the heck are my hands shaking so bad? And it's like, oh wait, you're going through pain, you got the adrenaline, So that's like an extra challenge you have to overcome.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
tried
it's
to
not-
tattoo my foot early on. I can't do that to myself.
Oh yeah, and you're doing yoga while you're doing it. So
Yeah,
that doesn't make
I
it easy.
can't tattoo my foot. I'm gonna let somebody else do it, and I'll suck it up because I ain't no bitch. But I can't inflict that upon myself and still focus.
That'd
Yeah,
be
I was in more
crazy.
pain. More pain from contorting my leg to reach the back of my calf than the actual tattoo.
Oh yeah, I've restricted my tattooing to the inside of my legs or the top, and the outside of my legs is for collecting other tattoo artists' art.
Nice.
Yeah, me too now, after I learned the hard way.
I have a black and gray leg, and then the other leg is colored.
I am not an advocate of tattooing yourself. I was asked to tattoo myself by an artist once. I did the job, and then that was the end of our relationship. I have a giant tattoo on my leg from it. I don't think that you can get as good of a quality of tattooing yourself. I mean, there are exceptions, don't get me wrong. But I think if you want a piece of work, you should go to an artist, a good artist, and get the thing that you really want. And yeah, that's just my opinion. It's not worth the hassle. And considering I take ice cold showers every single day, and it basically feels like it's stripping all your skin off, that's still my opinion. So
There's something to be said about that. I would agree, but for argument's sake, I would also say, I don't know, there's a lot of people talk about tattooing yourself when you're first starting as like a rite of passage.
yeah.
I think there's something to be said about that, just to get, if you're really new to the industry too, like me, I wanted to tattoo myself, so as a rite of passage, I want to be able to tell my clients when they're coming that I practice on myself. I know what pain I'm inflicting. I mean, I'm not doing it so I can have awesome artwork. That's kind of the sacrifice. I am happy with the results that I got, but it could definitely not always go that way. I have friends who tried to do really large pieces on themselves and then weren't able to finish, and now they have like not finished work on themselves and a lot of real estate.
Now, the rite of passage, I appreciate that. I collect tattoo history. Advocating it, if someone is an apprentice that has a mentor directly giving them instruction, a person can mess themselves up at home.
Oh yeah.
Nothing better than going like this while you're tattooing yourself at home at your kitchen table and giving yourself MRSA.
Ugh.
Right? So I appreciate it, and I think in the right environment, I can agree with every single thing you said.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said too. I definitely get your points there.
Okay, James, we can keep him. I like him. He plays well with others.
Good. Yeah. Well, I really I enjoy the back and forth. I think it's hopefully it will spark other conversations that are not only interesting, but again that are like they're helpful. Right? That there's something that's it's going to be useful. There's something that's going to be making making the industry better, but you know what I mean? Just more or less like opening up lines of communication, not being in like an echo chamber, I suppose. I know we're supportive of each other in our work, but at the same time, I think that there are real avenues for critical feedback, as well as these wider conversations that are
Differences of opinion are important for evolution.
totally.
Just evolution of the mind in general.
100%. It's needed and it's necessary.
That's why
yeah,
those
challenge
Monday
your own
night
ideas.
classes are so sweet, or even groups like this where you can share and get feedback, because you get an opinion from someone else, and it's like, oh, I didn't even think of that. That's a good,
Yeah.
someone with
100%.
different style, different technique.
You know what I find also is helpful is it's like taking a step back away from your work. When you put it out there, you are seeing it through a different set of eyes, like a different perspective. You're actually giving yourself a different opinion, because we can get so locked into the seduction, right, of the image, right? You're making this image and you're just sort of like, it has a spell over you. Maybe it's torturing you. You know what I'm saying? You could be torturing. It could be very painful. But then you take a step back and you're like, oh, it's all right. I guess it's not so good, but it's but it's better than some, worse than others. This sort of a thing. Like, you can take a step back. You can, have a different relationship to whatever it is you're making. And so again, you may find yourself in different rooms. There's a Facebook group called Tattoo Shop Talk, and it can be pretty brutal sometimes, That's the way they like it. You know what I mean? That's the way that they like it. So
that's kind of an old school thing too, because my first apprenticeship was in a shop full of bikers.
Yeah.
And I'm not this 19-year-old girl, and they're like, go sweep the floor. I'm like, fuck you, I was gonna do it anyway. It's an old school thing. I don't want to do it now that you told me to, but I was about to. You just shut up and let me do my job.
Amazing. Well, there was a chapter in a book that I wanted to share today, and then some tattoos to look at. So let's get things going on. I'm going to share this with you all, and get it prepared here. Perhaps I can share this with you. Yeah. Well, talk amongst yourselves, of course, while we're I think I know the issue. I think. Yes. Okay. Let's try again. We'll get the hang of this eventually.
I think one day off stream, a bunch of us should just meet and figure out all the features.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. I think it's very technical, but of course there is a lot of really great features that we have at our disposal. So I am grateful.
I like the chill beat in the background.
Thank you. I know that it's just generic, AI generated like lo-fi or whatever, but
comfy.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mood.
Gabe recommended that we maybe contact Aja Lu and see if we can use some music. Anyway, but right. Thank you for the feedback on the music. I love it too. Well, I wanted to show. This is just a few pages actually from a chapter from Andrew Loomis's book, Figure Drawing for All It's Worth. It's a very I think comprehensive book of all sorts of really great information in it. But this particularly, again, this sort of idea about perspective that we're talking about in the very beginning, I want to bring it back to that subject. So anyway, we've got this idea, this proportions in relation to the horizon. Again, we talked about it a little bit, like this idea of eye level or the horizon. Probably heard that before in art class and stuff. Hopefully this will help you understand it a little bit more clearly. Okay, so what we have here, we've got this series of little sketches, right? Eye level is selected, so it's arbitrary, wherever you want to put eye level or horizon. It's drawn, horizontally, generally speaking. You can't actually make it any sort of angle you want, but just for understanding purposes, we'll draw this horizontal line. Again, we are thinking about like a plane in space, like going back, right? Presumably, here I'll zoom in, presumably, top of this triangle, right, and the bottom of this triangle, they're parallel to each other, right, those edges, and they're going to go back into, they're going to appear to converge at a spot here, right? This top line and this bottom edge here, they're parallel, they're going to appear to converge at a vanishing point here. Nice and big. Okay. So if we think about like a figure, here's the sort of idea of proportions in space, right? We think about a figure, however tall, right? If they're standing in a line, how do we get this proportionate measurement, right? Again, with this idea of perspective, right? This figure is so tall, right? And then this figure in relationship to them and relationship to the eye level, right? So tall. So I think we can, hopefully that makes sense, all right? Now, if you wanted to place another figure, right? Again, you can use any point on here to triangulate them together. So trying to go from this very basic sort of simple relationship to something a bit more complex. And so, that's one. And so, lay out your thumbnail sketches, right? You can start to place your figures in particular ways, and then you can also relate them to one another, right? As far as how big things are. Figures, objects, whatever the case may be. And so here are a few different examples thinking about the eye level in different places. So if we look at this very first one here, right, we can see eye level is pretty low, right? It's down here, below the knee, as it were, right? So we're actually looking, if you want, we're looking up, right, at the figures. Again, our eye level here has been moved to higher up on the composition, right up here in the second one. And so we're actually looking down. We can see like the top of the figure's shoulders or their heads or whatever the case may be. And then again, they're related. They're roughly the same height, if you will, right? People are all different heights, and that's how you can get that sort of differentiation. But just for layout, just to kind of make sure that that things start to seem reasonable. You've got, this figure related to this one, right? All triangulated by a vanishing point, presumably on the horizon or the eye level. And the eye level is the point of, it's the height of the eye of the spectator, of the viewer who's looking at this image. Again, very low, like almost like a worm's eye point of view, right? Very low eye level, very low horizon, looking up at these figures. And then really complicated. So more examples of the same thing, right? But then this last one's very complicated. And that is that you have, a particular eye level horizon line that everything relates to, but you somehow are able to transfer this information, right, of a particular height of a figure, right, and then bring it up, right? And so the way that the way that this is being suggested is, of course, relate it to eye level, right? And then just move it up. So this person on the step, you can see it on the step. They're elevated, right? They're up off of the ground plane, but we don't want to make them look like they're 10 feet tall or like that they're tiny, right? So how do we do that? And this is just transferring this information. It takes a little bit of practice, but it can be very effective. So now basically everything that I was talking about is illustrated in this short little comic strip, if you like, of illustrations. So let's check it out. All right, so we're here with these two figures, John and Mary. They're standing at the beach, right? You can see that the horizon line, it's also the same level as the water, right? The horizon, the eye level. Well, they look like they are, we're basically where we're at. We're at Mary's eye level, right? That's where we are. So you can imagine maybe we're seated, or we're, maybe a small person, a child or something like that, whatever. But it's a point of view that you're sort of conveying, which is interesting. Okay, so again, if the horizon level, the eye level is raised, we are looking down at them for the most part, right? We're seeing the top of the shoulders. Looks like the head, John's head here, is just a little bit higher, so we can't quite see the very top. But everything else is really kind of conforming to this idea of where our the height of our eye is. How are we seeing these figures in space? Very low eye level, right? Again, now we're looking up, right? We can, we would see the top of Mary's hand here, right? Or the top of John's foot, but again, otherwise we're looking up at their figures, right? That's what we would see. Again, this sort of idea. We're way up, we're on top of a ladder, we're on top of we're on the second story of a building or something, and we're looking down and we see these figures this way. Again, this is a very basic understanding, right? Right, here's another one. If we get beneath them, right, if the eye level or the horizon is actually underneath the figures, right? Well, there would need to be, unless they were floating there, or they were on, like something transparent you can see through, like a sheet of glass, or whatever, right? You want to develop some sort of ground plane for them to be on. This makes sense. And then the same thing too, a real bird's eye view. I would almost say that this is like a 3-point perspective sort of a thing. More on that later, but you can see the top of the head, right, on both of the figures, right? So on and so forth. But both of them, right? And both of them are related this way. Or a very, very high up, you're in a hot air balloon, right? Or you're in a plane, right? You're starting to get higher and higher. And so you're really looking down on them. They get really small, which also indicates a sort of scale. Like we were talking about scale earlier with how to make proportions. But again, you're really looking down at these figures. Hopefully that's been very basic and made sense. Now, here is what happens when these sorts of notions about how we like to see, when we look all the time, wherever we look, we see things in perspective. It's just the physics of stuff, how we see it. When we're making artwork, of course, we can bend these rules and we can sort of do whatever we want. That's true. But what will happen is you'll make something that could be a bit disconcerting or confusing. So for instance, in this very first example, here it looks like we're looking at Mary with a very low eye level. Again, something where we can see the top of the hand, but we're looking up at the chin. But John, for instance, we're looking down at him, right? We can see right the top of his head. Now this sort of reverse situation, right? We can look down and see Mary, right? We're looking up at John. for instance, right? Underneath the chin, underneath the arm, right? There's all sorts of cues, visual cues that are telling you like, this is I'm relating to these figures in a particular way. Same thing, just again and again, this sort of, there's a sort of a disconnection with how these figures are relating to each other, right? They're somehow wrong, right? It feels that way.
Looks like he's trying to jump on top of her.
Yeah, exactly. Like that would be that's, you would have to think about how you're seeing this figure, right? Like if this, if it were a person jumping on top of another person, you might change the gesture, but certainly that's what you would expect to see. Like you're down low and you're looking up, then you would see this particular part of their body. Or maybe they're hanging or something like that. But yeah, exactly. It calls it out here, falling, right? Looks like the figure is falling. So again, Mary's doing gymnastics, right? Just sort of moving around all kinds of weird ways. What's that?
She's breakdancing.
Yes, exactly.
Respect, Mary. Breakdancing in the beach, man. Whew.
Whoa.
What's
It's hard
that,
to
Chase?
In this one, we're talking about like a scale relationship, right? We saw that relationship of, in perspective, figures are going to, a certain amount of distance away from each other, right? They're going to be a certain scale. This one, she looks like just like a, like a much larger figure. Perhaps that's not what you want. Maybe it is what you want, but being intentional or being able to sort of have a say as far as what things, the way things appear, is a part of what we're doing. And there's going to be all sorts of like, interesting discoveries you'll make as you go. But again, she might look too diminutive here, right? Or again, the perspective is funny, right? We're looking down at this figure, right? But this one is like, our eye level is, at a similar spot as his eye level, for instance, right? Your drawing is rejected and no one really seems to know what is wrong. Oh, that sucks, right? Like, oh no. So just sort of taking us through this, how does this happen, right? I know that I can go back through my drawings and I can see this sort of, this disconnection from objects that I've placed in the scene, for instance, right? So there will be one when I'm just sort of looking at it and drawing it, or I'm thinking about something, right, and I'm sketching it out, and then I start thinking about another thing and just start sketching it out, and I don't have this organizing principle of the eye level or the horizon. It can be, I think, really useful to keep in mind. Okay, so this drawing looks crazy, right? But there's a simplified version of it right down here that I think can help kind of give you a little insight into it, right? So again, we've got this face, and it relates, back to vanishing point on eye level. There is another face, right? This third one. So just, drawing these, what would be, orthogonal lines, they're going back into these lines that indicate perspective, right? They go back into space. They give us particular height at a particular, distance from the, from the one that the key drawing is what Andrew Loomis calls it. That makes sense. But there's a key drawing, and that helps us relate the sizes of the other things. You can get to this one, right? You can get to this further out one, again, by relating it to the horizon, to eye level. So again, if we look back at this really crazy drawing, right, we've got a key face, relates to a vanishing point, right? This face is the same proportion of face, right? It's the same, it's the same person again, or it's a person that's very similar in size. And that's how you can take this information and generate somebody who's a similar sort of size of the other. And so you can keep your proportions in check. Again, you can make some subtle variations and that would work. Or you can, again, exaggerate, but you know, can have a bit of say-so in how these things get perceived. And so, yeah, I'll read this little bit here, right? Many artists have difficulty in placing figures in their picture and properly relating them to each other, especially if the complete figure is not shown. And so the solution can be to draw a key figure or standing or sitting, either the whole figure or any part of them, and they can be scaled to the horizon or the eye level. And that's essentially what we've been talking about here, is that you can take one thing and start to use it as something that relates the other things, right? Relates all of the other elements in your composition. So again, you know, just coming up with a place where your horizon is your eye level, that can be useful when you're considering the drawing. There's all sorts of approaches. This is just one that I think can be helpful if you're trying to make this very like a naturalistic sort of representational thing. And it can help you. Yeah, it can help you relate things in the same space. I think that's almost more what we're really kind of referring to, right? If you have figures that are kind of occupying the same space, having them relating to a particular eye level can be very useful for you. So, okay, that was the thing I wanted to share with our reading. And so the tattoos I wanted to look at and we could analyze them, I think, and also sort of ooh and ah at them. Yeah. So Andy Chambers.
Wow.
Got a chance to meet Andy Chambers
no.
at the Paradise Tattoo Gathering, which is we're gonna plug that in a little bit, but
Wow.
yeah, Andy is like an incredible tattooer. Well, what do we have here, gang? Right, we have a really clever use, I think, of a lot of these ideas we were just talking about in terms of eye level and perspective. And I heard Andy talk about this piece, and there's actually a bit of cover up and stuff that's going on. So there were some decisions that he had to make for color.
I love the color scheme.
Yeah, I think it's gorgeous.
Those blues and oranges and rusts and teals go so well together.
Exactly. But I like this idea that that we're seeing, right? We're looking up, right, at this bird, right? The snake's head is just above our eye level, or it's right at the eye level, right? So we're kind of seeing, it, right? And then we can look down and see its belly, right? We're looking down on top of the, the rock face, the, this rattle. Just really, it makes a lot of sense from
so much depth
point of view. It definitely has a very naturalistic sort. It's stylized too, but it's also it has enough reference, I think, to life that makes it very it tells us something about the scene and about the characters and how they relate to one another. And again, there is also probably there's a bit of this scaled relationship, I think. Did Andy do all of the the sort of things that we just talked about? I don't know, but certainly you can see that there is a horizon or an eye level that seems to be a part of the thinking behind how these two figures relate to one another. And we just looked at a bunch of people, but in this instance, this is a really practical, like, sort of application. similar sort of notion, right? And it seems like to me, if I had to take a guess, we're likely our eye level seems to be probably about at this rat's eye level, right?
Mhm.
Like we're looking up at this bird. We got the point of view of like we're like another rat, maybe. We're relating to this character, to this figure in the foreground, and and then scale relationship. This predator much larger than its prey. So there's again, this is a perspective trick. It helps us to sort of understand and relate what's happening in the image. But from that, we can infer lots of, narrative devices like David and Goliath, for instance, or, this sort of, there's something that's smaller and weaker that has to battle something greater and stronger. These sorts of ideas come to mind.
The use of using the cooler colors in the rat on the one side towards the bottom, and then using all the warmer colors in the owl on the top, gives you this balance of almost a yin yang.
It's very dynamic.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that too. There's a lot of dynamic qualities to it compositionally. Yeah, and very, I think, clever use of the warm and cool. The palette, right, is also seems to be very related. Right, it's related in itself. Very beautiful tattoo, of course, but how do you make it so beautiful, right? And I think it's going to be this combination of all those elements, and there's a lot of contrast too, value contrast, textural contrast, different areas of focus, right? There's all sorts of things. Kick-ass dragon.
Purple and green is one of my favorite color combinations. I go back to it every time.
Yeah, it's
one of my favorites too.
My daughter said it's because I'm secretly a Disney villain.
That might explain, right? Why we love certain things, right? There's some identity that we apply to images, to elements and stuff. This one it's tough for me. I'm not even sure where do you think the horizon might be with this one? And how can you tell? Any takers?
I almost kind of feel like it's above the dragon.
Left shoulder.
Yeah, we can like kind of see down on top of the head, on top of the shoulder and stuff. Yeah, I like that. Certainly, by the time you get down to this hand on the lower bit, you're really looking down at it. But yeah, it could either be above, right? Right there at the
2-point perspective.
Certainly, yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, the depth in that thing is crazy.
Yeah, totally. And so, how else are we getting this sort of idea, right? Overlap. Things are overlapping, one another, and that gives us again it gives us a clue as to what is closer to the view of the spectator, right? Who's ever looking at this thing. Another kind of, just a classic landscape image. And then, I don't know, it definitely, I think it definitely works. It feels like you can see this, like this mom. Looks like a tribute tattoo probably, but it feels like this could be the license plate to this, to this Jeep. In relationship, it's really big, right? It's a really big sort of, element. But again, because of the perspective that's being used here, it starts to make sense. And so I think that's I think that's really, it's very clever, but also there's a lot of there's just a lot of different like techniques that are being used here. There is some eye level somewhere. This Jeep is dynamic, right? It sort of feels like it's like maybe driving down a hill possibly, right? Just because of its angle. But we can't see the top of it, right? We can see the top of the of the hood, let's say, for instance. But yeah, we can't quite see the top of it. So that would mean likely that the eye level is probably in this space, something like that. But we can look up and see this mountain behind it. And so again, there's overlap, right? There's a foreground, middle ground, background situation. But, keeping eye level in mind here, I think has been an effective tool to compose this piece. This one is rad. Super rad. There was one other one I was hoping to get to. I don't know if it's in line here, but just awesome.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So, yeah, just like looking at them. Oh, and again here, right? I think we can really start to see, that there's a certain relationship. We're looking down at the top of the head here. We're looking down at these paws and stuff. So the eye level, it must be higher up, right? And then all of the other sort of elements are relating to it in some way. Top of the skulls, right? This sort of thing. Anyway, eye level is going to tell us if we're looking up at something or looking down at it, and that's what it's good for. So anyway,
I like how it like really, at least me, it makes me like really consider like the environment that the object that I'm drawing or painting or whatever, really considering what its environment is and like where it's at and everything like that. So that's really cool. Definitely another thing to add onto the designs for tattoos and stuff like that. Like
yes,
I never took that into consideration at all. Huh. Damn.
I'm gonna open up. I want to open up some questions from the chat. If anybody has questions, or if they, if you want to.
So with like perspective and stuff like that, could you use like the same thing to help guide the eye to like your focal point and stuff like that?
I think so. I really do think so.
Yeah.
But what do you tease that out a little bit? What else?
So in the painting, the School of Athens, by Raphael, I feel like it's a pretty good use of like your perspective lines and everything like that. Kind of help taking that into account of like your eyes are already going to be following this direction and they're all going to meet about like your vanishing point. So having like your focal point at the vanishing point and everything like that, and like there's like I don't know, like all the figures that are standing in a line, they're kind of like the horizon line and everything like that. And then you've got like a group of people down over here and a group of people over here, and then just like the architecture around them and everything like that. It all kind of just points towards the center, which is like two people talking. So like it's, I don't know, multitasking, I guess, using your basically everything you already talked about. So yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
So the center, right? That's probably where we wanna be looking.
Yeah.
Plato and Aristotle, I believe, something like that. But so
like the group on the bottom left.
Hell yeah, I want to hear it.
the group on the bottom left, like all of them kind of are in an angle towards them. Towards the center. Just all those guys, like their heads slowly read up into like towards the middle, which I thought was cool. Kind of the same thing on the other side, not so much, but it's more just that actually doesn't even work. But like the architecture, the vanishing point lines kind of head towards them as well, the archway above them and everything like that, which I thought was pretty cool too.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like this. We see this column. If we're going to zoom in even a little bit more, or whatever. This column that's all the way over here. We can see two different planes, right? There's a plane that seems to be, facing us, and then the one that's going back into space, and it's almost like it's almost a flat line. The angle's very, very, sort of very acute between these two, and so this edge here is leading back to the eye level, the horizon line. And yes, we can see the top of these people's heads and stuff. It's like we're standing here on the ground, and we're about this tall roughly, and we're sort of looking up at all the figures that are above us. Sort of yes, our eyes are definitely going to be. This is where we are. This is the center of our vision. We're looking right here, and we're now look up. Right? It's like look here and now look up. This doesn't have all of the graphing that we just showed, but it's certainly a part of the design of it, the plan. Yeah, this architecture, we can see the top of this. I don't know, whatever this piece is, right? We can see the top of it, but up here it's just above us. We can't quite see it. And that really
the crown molding, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, the molding.
Yeah, right. I don't.
Even the lines in like the geometric shapes on the arch are all pointing in rays to that middle section.
Yep.
But it's just so subtle that you don't realize that they're all pointing there. It just naturally draws your eye in gently.
Well,
kind of like the. Oh, sorry.
Creature asked about 2-point perspective earlier. Well, this is 1-point perspective, right? Everything is going back to that. There's a lot of tension, right? There's a lot of tension. Everything's going back. Well, it seems like, there's this box, whatever this box is, this block to maybe this book. There are a few objects. They're going, they're still using the eye level, the horizon, wherever it is, right here, roughly. They're still using it, but they are not going back to that single point where all of the architecture is, of course, going back, and all of that's like Amber was saying, it's just sort of subtly bringing our eye back to it. And then there's this weird, must be like a door, or this sort of extremely dark portal into God knows where. It's very, it's very cool. What is this, Raphael?
May I say a couple things?
Of course.
To me, it looks like there are a couple different perspectives in it, but the vortices in the center, it's all that entire picture looked at from a classical drawing standpoint. It has it's full of sacred geometry.
Yes.
There's many different variations of shapes and agons and everything in there. There's multiple horizontal and vertical lines that also go all the way to the distance, perspectively speaking, from, well, and I think the black doorway is to say, hey, come in and play and take a look, because artists were fun.
Love that. No, thank you for that. And Sacred geometry is so interesting. That's exactly what Plato was talking about it. This realm of forms that's, sort of everything, there are these perfect forms, right? They're ideas from the mind of God, and then people try to represent them in their minds, so it's a copy of the copy, and then you make the thing, and then so that's a copy of the copy of the copy. But anyway, it's sort of interesting. Sacred geometry can be so intriguing. Let's come back to reality here.
Loved it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So just trying to relate some of those ideas together, how we're thinking about our drawing, not to make it overly complicated, but have some tools that can, help you achieve this, the ends that you have in mind. But just like we were doing earlier today, this little warm up with the cube and sort of thinking about how would the ellipses, what would they be, which way would they be oriented? Doing stuff like that, drawing a tire, just taking something from life and trying to sketch it. I think it starts to build your memory, your working, memory. So when you go to design something, you're going to have that. You're going to have that to work with. But thank you everybody for hanging out and for checking out this these things with us. I wanted to talk about the next Paradise Tattoo Gathering. It's going to be beautiful Jiminy Peak, Maryland, October 24th through the 27th. I know there's going to be so many seminars, and there's going to be of course incredible tattoos and stuff they're going to be taking place there. Kyle, you tattooed there last year.
Yeah.
Last year, it's crazy. Yeah, it was in 2023, so it was last year already.
It was just a few months ago.
I know. I know. but yeah, so last year. Jake Meeks drew this year's poster. It's gorgeous.
I thought that looked like Jake's work.
Yeah.
Yep. Shout out to Jake.
Yeah.
Jake is how I found out about the reinventing community.
Oh,
Me too.
Because I've been following Jake for years.
Yep.
Fantastic. I don't know if we can. I'm not sure if we can play videos on. I'll check into it. Maybe we can play videos and stuff. But list of artists coming soon. Well, if you were interested, tattoogathering.com, and you can stay up to date with what's going to be coming. So get your tickets, right? All these passes and stuff. This gets you in, right? But of course, the seminars, they are going to cost more. We'll plan accordingly. I believe that there's going to be a scholarship that will be. I think it's going to be matched. There was somebody who would agree to match the scholarship. So anyway,
That's pretty awesome.
Paradise Tattoo Gathering it's an incredible opportunity. What do we got here? But I'm hoping to see you all there. And it's in October, so you got plenty of time to plan for it. But yeah, mark it down on your calendars. Make sure to go. It was a really incredible experience, and I think let's see. I think that I left there feeling almost recharged. Sometimes conventions, people say this, right? Sometimes conventions can be draining, but the tattoo gathering I thought was I felt like invigorated. Right? I felt like ready to get back to work. So it was I recommend it.
Who am I going to see at Hell City this year? Anybody going?
I know that a friend of the show, Jason Leeser, is going to be tattooing at Hell City. So excited.
We love Jason.
To go myself. Do some drawing seminars and whatnot. So yeah, no, Hell City. Looking forward to that as well. But yeah, anybody else got anything cool that they've got on any projects you got coming up you want to promote? That was a good time.
If everything works out today the way I want it to, we'll be open by March 1st.
Damn, that's quick. That's exciting.
They're renovating a doctor's office for us, so we have our individualized procedure rooms. I have a nurse, security, everything.
Dude, that's awesome.
Thank you. I'm not going to celebrate. Fool's Party, Kings celebrate.
Yeah.
This is attempt number 5. Many years worth of work. This is going to work.
Cool. Well,
You're
hope
upside
everything
down.
works out for you.
Yes, sir. I will keep you posted in next week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck. Seriously.
That's exciting.
Thank you. You guys are a huge support. I appreciate it.
Brad, you're upside down. What happened? You're in the upside down, Brad.
Hey, it's all perspective. All right.
It is.
All
Is
perspective.
he upside down or are we upside down?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how camera got flipped. Oh no. All right, there you are.
There.
Perfect. Welcome back. Everything looks better. All right, so I'm going to show some of this last thing here. Hell City. So
Woo!
Oh, it is coming to Phoenix.
yes, Hell City will be in Phoenix.
Oh, I'll be there.
Brad. And let's see.
Awesome.
Okay.
I've always wanted to go to a Hell City. I remember seeing a Hell City convention in magazines like years ago. I'm like, I want to go to that. And
Aw,
I finally get
Sure,
to go to
bro.
it. Fucking, that's exciting.
Hell City, Rubber City, and the Paradise. So
Mhm.
excellent. So these are what's coming up. Want to promote these, and I want to again encourage everybody to get out there and find a really great live drawing group right near you. You may have to do a bit of searching, but get with some others in real life. Draw pictures and stuff. Could be with your coworkers or anything. I mean, it's
Anything.
again, I feel like that's what this supports, right? This sort of cyber gathering that we're doing here supports. It's leading to real life events, but do that in your real life. Draw with other people.
Yep.
Again, get that critical feedback. Take a step back from your work and look at it, with a different perspective, as it were. Yeah. So.
Muy importante.
It is, and really, it's one of the things that I think will help you grow. It may, it's improvement, maybe being relative. It might, it might be this thing that helps you realize how much more you need to learn. But
The more you know, the less you know.
yeah.
That's right.
100% correct.
100.
well, I've had a blast today. It's great seeing you all. It was great meeting Brad.
Yeah.
Brad,
Thanks, Brad.
come
Thanks for
back
showing
next
up, Brad.
time. Love having you. Want to see you again. I know
Absolutely.
Spirit was also contacted me and he was trying to get on, and there was a bit of technical difficulty there. So Spirit, miss you. Love to see you as well.
Yeah.
I'd like to show my little dragon.
There we go.
No
Oh,
chat.
nice.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Sick.
Like that.
I started that when we started the show.
Nice.
Cool.
Very good.
Thank you.
Automatic.
One day when I grow up.
Well, why don't we just do a couple of quick sign-offs and then we'll get out of here. Get on with our day. Preacher, let's have your sign-off. Where can we find you?
Creatures Cave everywhere. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I'm at your service. Thank you.
Excellent. Great to see you again. Good luck with with the project and cool dragon, by the way.
Oh, thanks. I'm trying.
No, great work. Amber, where can we find you? Where can we learn more about Amber?
Well, as always, I am on all social media under Amber Morgaine. And if you Google it, that's how you get me. So that's how you can reach me. And as always, thank you for being here. This starts my Monday right. Otherwise, I'd just be sitting here drinking my coffee going, what is life? I gotta get drawn. This gets my juices flowing.
Well, that might also be important as well. But again,
Yeah.
Great to see you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing your drawing. Loved that.
Thank you.
Loved that beautiful colored pencil. That work that you're doing. So want to see more of that, and I'll learn how to spotlight us so I can. Sure.
I'm actually kind of working towards doing more of that, like spell work tattoo. Because the tattoo itself will be done in ritual. So I have a lot of practitioners that I tattoo and that I know. So it only makes sense to weave spell work with ink work.
Magic. Yeah, absolute magic.
Exactly.
Miss Amber, if you need any assistance figuring out the maths on that, let me know.
Thank you, because I'm great at art, not so good at math.
Thank you, Amber.
Appreciate that.
Kyle Olson, everybody. Can we learn where we can
Love
find
Kyle.
Where can we learn more?
Love
Kyle?
time.
My name's Kyle Olson. I tattoo out of Tucson, Arizona, the cold land of Arizona. If you need to get a hold of me and want to work on a project together, you're more than welcome to shoot me an email at kyle@tac520.com, or you can get a hold of me via Instagram at Olson_tattoos, OLSON. And it is always good to hang out with the crew, the Monday morning crew. So
Yeah.
it's a pleasure seeing everybody.
Love it.
Thank you for coming, Kyle. I know it's early for you when you get up and join us. So yeah, really appreciate it.
Not too
The
bad.
West Coasters, right? The super dedicated.
Yeah,
So,
the diehards.
yeah, thank you so
I'm
much.
lucky.
We got nothing
I'm
else
in
to do.
Jersey on the shore. I'm lucky. I'm like 20 minutes from the shore, so it's 9 a.m. for me when this starts.
I want to again just thank everybody that joined us today, and also thank you for tuning in. It's why we do it. You know what I mean? That we really love drawing and sharing this space of communication, community. And so I also want to thank Gabe Ripley for all he does behind the scenes. Thank you, Gabe. It really,
Thanks, Gabe.
a lot of work. And then also thanks to Guy Atchison for this space, founder and inspiration behind the Reinventing community. So thanks, Guy. Also, you can find me on the internet, Tattooing Wisdom, as well. You can also, here we go. want to plug the Alliance of Professional Tattooists as well. If you're a professional tattooer, please consider joining the Alliance of Professional Tattooists. It's your trade organization. They certainly like negotiate on your behalf, right? They're interested in you and the industry. So yeah, they advocate on your behalf. APT. So you can learn more about APT by going to safe-tattoos.com. Anyway, Brad, we're signing off. Will you give us your sign off? Oh, where'd you go?
Oh my God.
Tell us where we can find more about your work, and yeah. Thanks for coming.
Well, thanks. I did got some technical difficulties here. Everything's dying on me, but I did want to come say bye. I don't have social media right now, but if you are in Fredericton, New Brunswick, I do sell my art at the farmers market. Promote myself there.
Cool.
But yeah, I just want to say thanks for the class. It was really awesome, and I learned a few things for sure. Wanted to catch you, hopefully, to say bye.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah. Love to see you next week. I will likely see you and Kyle at least tonight, Sandy, during our Monday night class. We have a special guest, Killian Moon, is going to be there doing like a lecture. It's going to be very cool. I think Guy Atchison is supposed to show up, which would be awesome to see him. But yeah, awesome drawing. Your snake design is I'm like jealous. I'm like, now when I'm gonna work on mine, because I'm jealous of your drawing, so I have to work on mine real hard. So thank you so much.
I'm excited to see your guys' drawings later too. Alan James, yeah.
So
hopefully I'll get a few more hours.
You in person, or you know what I mean, virtual person.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us again. This has been Drawing for Tattooers. Join us every Monday at 9 a.m. on Reinventing, and draw along with us. Happy drawing, everybody, and see you next stream. All right.